UFC's pound for pound #1 fighter, Ilia Topuria, is the worst champion in the sport right now. Yes, I said it. Worst champion in the sport. And I'm not talking about skill set. I'm not talking about the worst fighter in the sport. He's the worst champion in the sport. If you look at all the male champs, all the way from Tom Aspinall, all the way down to Pantoja, Ilia Topuria is worst for the company. Not because he doesn't have star power. Not because he's not exciting to watch. Not because he can't fight. But for the simple fact, he's doing shit like this. He's pulling stunts like this. We already know the stereotypes about Ilia Topuria wanting to be Conor McGregor. I mean, look at this shit. He's trying to mimic Conor's career. I get it. You got the same tattoos. You fought in the same weight classes. Similar fighting style, right? All that stuff. The brashness, the cockiness, the confidence. That's okay, but this is where it's drawing the line. When you're trying to ruin the sport and not fulfill your duties as champion of the sport. I was a little skeptical of being an Ilia fan because the way he left the featherweight division, alright? He beat the generation before him. The generation he had time to study, but he didn't give the generation of his time, he didn't give his generation the chance to fight him. And then he just dips. He just leaves the division. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, this guy's got my attention. But I don't know if I respect him because, not that Topuria cares who respects him, but I don't know if I respect him because he didn't fight Diego Lopez and Masvidal Evloev, who were the standout contenders at the time. Then you also had Lerone Murphy floating around. You also had Gene Silva floating around. But featherweight stacked. But he left featherweight. And I was a little like, wow. You're going to give no one a chance, really? You're not going to give anyone a chance at featherweight. Okay, whatever. He's moving up to lightweight. And then I changed my mind. I let it go. I'm like, it's okay. No big deal. He's changing weight classes because of one thing. This fight right here. It distracted me from Topuria running away from the featherweight division. This is the fight I wanted back during UFC Fight Week or International Fight Week. This is the fight we wanted for UFC 317. It didn't happen, but it's such a big fight. I will still wait for it, and I'm still pumped about it. Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. Imagine that fight. Imagine this fucking fight right here. Topuria Makhachev. We're still waiting for it. We'll do anything to watch this fight. Even if Islam moves up to 170 and wins the belt. And Topuria has to move up all the way to 170 to fight him. We'll take it. If Islam wants to drop back down to 155, I doubt it. But if Islam wants it to be at 155, I'll watch the fight at 155. We'll take it. This is a huge fight. This is awesome. So I completely forgot about the fact that Ilia Topuria ran away from his division, the featherweight division, because this fight's so big, you get a pass. No matter what you're doing. If you're ducking contenders in featherweight, if you're leaving your division after only one title defense, if you're copying Conor McGregor, whatever, I'll give you a pass because if you are going to give us the biggest super fight in the sport, I'm going to forget all the wrongs you done and I'm going to be focused on this fight because this is what the sport needs. A huge super fight. The UFC blew it with John Jones and Tom Aspinall, right? But this was the second biggest fight that could have been made the whole year. And it's the only realistic fight that can be done next year that is a real super fight. Like a real super fight. Where fans are debating, no, this guy's pound for pound #1. No, this guy's pound for pound #1. It's between Islam and Topuria. Islam never even lost the pound for pound #1 spot. It's just that they let Topuria surpass him. Recency bias. He got a win more recently than Islam. And to be fair, Topuria moved up weight classes. Watch, if Islam beats JDM, they're going to put Islam back at pound for pound number 1. They're just going back and forth. But now that I know that this fight, it's not impossible. It's not impossible to book this fight. But now that I know that this fight is far from reality, it's wishful thinking, really. Islam has to beat Jack, and then we have to hope that the UFC lets this fight happen because they know that these are their 2 stars right now. And I doubt Hunter Campbell and Dana White want either of these guys to lose, right? They don't want Islam to lose. They need their Dagestani undefeated fighter that's tied with Khabib. Islam has 1 loss, but you know what I mean. And they don't want Topuria to lose, especially not Topuria. He's got bigger star potential than Islam. He's their Conor McGregor clone, right? I doubt this fight's going to happen. It's possible. It's way more possible than Aspinall versus John Jones, don't get me wrong. But I don't see this fight happening. There's a lot of hoops and valleys, or whatever the fuck it's called. There's a lot of hurdles. So, okay, it's sinking in. The biggest super fight that I was interested in might not happen. There's a good chance it won't happen. So now I'm back to realizing who Topuria really is as a champion. Now that that distraction's gone, the only thing I was given Topuria passes for, the Islam versus Topuria fight, that distracted me from all the ducking and dodging Ilia does. Now that that is to the side, I can focus on Topuria's status as a fighter more clearly, and I see it for what it is. What the fuck is this? He's just a copycat McGregor who only wants to defend his belt once, then move up a division to fight a guy who's not even close to the best in that division, maybe ranked 3. He fought that guy for a title, and the title means the 2 best fighting each other. That title fight at UFC 317 was far from it. Charles Oliveira wasn't even the 2nd best in that division. So he gets a title shot and praise for moving up and fighting a guy who is not the best in the world at that division. Topuria beats him instantly, just as I expected, and now Topuria's pound for pound number 1. Now he's not even looking to defend his belt against the guys at lightweight. He's looking to do this. He wants to do a bullshit boxing match. I don't care how big the boxing match is. Why would I want to watch this? Why? If Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford was boring, right? Why would this be exciting? Why would the clone McGregor be exciting on top of that? We already seen a more popular boxer versus a more popular MMA fighter, McGregor Floyd. Yeah, I was all in on that because that was the first time McGregor was on top of the world, biggest star we've ever seen, and he truly convinced the fans. Don't ever doubt me again. And I said after he beat Eddie Alvarez, I will never doubt this guy again. A lot of people said that after he beat Aldo, after he beat Mendez. Conor had us convinced. But guess what? The show's over. We realize the boxers are always going to win that. Even though the MMA fighter can make it close, the boxer's always going to outbox the MMA fighter. And even if the MMA fighter hangs in there, it's still going to be boring. It's not going to be fireworks. Like a MMA fight. They're not going to shed blood. It's not going to be unpredictable. It's going to be a boxing match. And we all fell asleep from Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Nothing against them. Shout out to Terence Crawford. Undefeated fighter, legit boxer. I respect boxing. But entertainment-wise, what the fuck is this going to do for me entertainment-wise? Nothing. This is a selfish move on Topuria's part to try to get the bag from boxing. That's it. Topuria has no integrity as a champion. This is why he's the worst champion in UFC. He doesn't care an ounce about the fans. Not even a little bit. And I know this is a selfish sport. The number one thing he should care about is his health and making money for his family. But dude, you have tons of money you can make in UFC. You're one of the few guys that can demand money in the UFC. There is so many super fights on the table for you. Yeah, this fight would pay you more. But this is unrealistic. We haven't seen you defend the lightweight belt. You just won it. And you won it off a guy who wasn't even the second best guy in the division. Islam was the champion of the division. He moved up. And you didn't fight the number one contender, Arman, even. You fought the guy that Arman beat, Charles Oliveira, who was on a one-fight winning streak against Michael Chandler. So Topuria beat that guy. Yeah, Charles was awesome once upon a time, in 2021, in 2022. And after that, he's been a win one, lose one type of fighter. That's it. You beat a guy coming off a one-fight win streak against Michael Chandler for the belt. And you got the pound for pound number one status. And this is what you're doing with it? Undeserved pound for pound status, in my opinion. You didn't even beat Arman yet. You didn't even defend the belt once. You moved up and fought the third best guy in the division at that time. We would be more pumped. The fans would respect you more if you called out Gaethje even though Gaethje doesn't deserve it. If you called out a MMA fighter at the top of your division, you would get way more respect and the fans would be way more hyped than this bullshit. No one wants to watch boxing, bro. Now let's delegitimize Topuria as a champ, because there is some things that make me question his pound for pound number one status and his legitimacy as a champion. One, he missed weight. No one's talking about that. Not only did he not fight the best guy in the division for the belt, he got away with missing weight. How many shortcuts does this guy get? He missed weight. If you don't believe me, let's watch the video. A lot of people have not seen this video.
155 and a half. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Did you hear that? Did you hear it? Let's play it one more time.
155 and a half. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
155 and a half pounds. You are not allowed to be over 155 pounds if you are fighting for the belt in the lightweight division. Topuria was overweight. I don't care if it's just half a pound. They have stripped Charlie Oliveira's belt for less. They stripped Charlie Olive's for less. Charlie Olive's basically made weight, and they claimed he didn't, and didn't allow him to compete for the belt. But Ilia Topuria gets to be a half pound over, and it goes unnoticed. They cover it up for him. You're going to see in just a second. And he gets to fight for the belt still. And he gets to walk around and claim himself as champion.
155. I misspoke.
155.
155, I misspoke. Bullshit. Look at Topuria's face. He knows that it was part of the plan to let him miss weight, so he has a little advantage over Charlie Oliveira. They basically handed him the belt for free. All he had to do was throw a punch, and he knew he had every advantage on his side. He had the best odds to win that belt. He got to miss weight and fight the third best guy in the division at the time. This is a real champion? This is a legitimate champion? This is pound for pound number one? Is this a good precedent for the sport? Missing championship weight, beating the third best guy in the division, and claiming you're the best in the world? Alright, if missing championship weight, beating the third best guy in the world, not the number one guy in the world, and ditching your weight class isn't enough to lose some respect for Topuria, I don't know what to say. But what about this? What are you guys going to say about this? He's not fighting. He's not fighting the number one contender, Arman. And a lot of you guys can say, well, Arman doesn't deserve it, even though he's the worst matchup. Even though somebody's the worst stylistic matchup for the champion, doesn't necessarily mean they deserve the title shot. And I agree. He hasn't been active. He's been a little entitled. He hasn't fought since UFC 300. There was mistakes on both sides. UFC should have gave him that rematch. They should have rebooked that Islam and Arman fight right away after UFC 311. But they didn't. And Arman's only been doing grappling tournaments. Get your ass in the octagon, Arman. Okay, I understand there's an argument here. Arman might not deserve it. Okay. A lot of people can say Gaethje doesn't deserve it. Whether you think Arman deserves it or Justin Gaethje deserves it, Ilia Topuria's got to pick somebody. He's got to pick somebody. These are the only options right now. Paddy Pimblett still hasn't proved himself enough. He needs one more win. Okay? And we need a fight in the meantime. We're not going to get this for a long time, if ever. Makhachev is not going to fight till November. And you know how long he takes between his fights. You know how long the Dagestani guys take between fights. You know, even if Islam wins in round 1 and takes no damage, you think he's going to fight Topuria right away? Hell no. Hell no. I'd bet anything he doesn't fight Topuria right away if he comes out unscathed against JDM. So while we're waiting for this fight, Topuria, bro, you got to pick somebody. You got to pick Arman or you got to pick Gaethje. You got to pick someone. What the fuck is this going to do for fight fans? What is this going to do for MMA fans, UFC fans, hardcore fans? What is this going to do? Nothing. Nothing. This won't do shit for me. I don't care about this at all. I don't care about boxing. I don't give a fuck. I'm happy Tony Ferguson beat up some influencer in boxing and got a win in 2025. Just those stupid little gimmick boxing matches. Those are fun to watch, but I don't care about the biggest boxing matches in the world because the biggest boxing matches ever were boring as fuck. Floyd versus Pacquiao, boring as fuck. Crawford versus Canelo, boring as fuck. I'm just not into it. Don't give a fuck about this. Topuria, you're ruining your stock as a champion. Give us this. Beat up a contender. Beat up Arman. Beat up Gaethje. Beat up Paddy. And then give us this super fight right here. The fight we've all been waiting for. And you will be known as the best fighter. You won't need to prove yourself against a boxer. No one will even be talking about boxing if we get this shit. Don't worry about Terrence Crawford. He doesn't give a shit about you. You do nothing for him. And that'll do nothing for you. And that'll do nothing for the sport. Stop making it all about money. You got money. I believe you were already rich. I heard you were already rich before the UFC. So I don't see why you need to go to boxing so bad. Be a legit champ. Put your aura to good use. Defend the belt. And then beat up Islam. And let's make history and let's make combat sports great again. I'll catch you guys soon. Hit like, hit subscribe. Peace out.